Hi everyone, it's Rach here. Welcome to week 6 training, and today we're talking about the impact of sleep and stress on weight loss and on life and your body and health in general, and how to manage it. So today we're going to talk about health implications of stress and sleep deprivation. Where does stress come from? Managing stress and your reactions to stress. A quick stress management tool, and I'm going to go into a bit of depth when it comes to the science of sleep and how to actually get a better night's sleep straight away, what you can do in order to do that. So first of all, we're going to talk about the health implications of stress, and when you're very stressed or sleep deprived, your body produces abnormally high amounts of the stress hormone cortisol. So cortisol is the hormone in your body that actually is supposed to be high in the morning because it's the one that wakes you out of your sleep. And increased levels of cortisol in the body can actually lead to increased abdominal fat storage as well. So a lot of us are living our daily lives now in a very high state of stress, causing much more cortisol to be in our bloodstream than should be. Direct effect of this is that hormone levels can become unbalanced. You can become permanently in a sort of fight, flight, or flinch response. So we're even getting to the point now where if your mobile rings, or if you get a text message, or if your emails are going, or social media is going all the time, you get what I call a flinch reaction. And again, that is a stress response, which we really don't want to be reacting to all the time. You'll know yourself that stress can cause digestive disruption as well, and it can also cause fat storage, especially around the abdomen area. So indirect effects, so psychological effects of stress and sleep deprivation include, but are not limited to, irritability, poor concentration and decision making abilities, food cravings, as well as increased appetite and emotional eating. So if you are sleep deprived, then you can almost guarantee that your appetite will be increased and your cravings and emotional eating will be heightened as well. There isn't really there isn't one solution to being stressed or being sleep deprived. It would be really silly of me to even say that there was. But sometimes we need to consider that it's not the actual stressor that's causing the problem, but our reaction, or your reaction to the stress, that matters the most. So if we start to think about stress as a series of solving problems, then we can start to react to it slightly differently and reduce the negative effect of the stressor. So hopefully that makes sense. So if we think about actually how we react to things, and I'll explain that in a bit more detail in a second. So where does stress come from? So when you hear the word stress, what do you think about? Do you think about the feeling of being stressed, or do you realise that there are other ways that your body can be under stress? So of course there is physical stress, which kind of goes hand in hand with the exercise stress. So if your training schedule is particularly heavy and demanding, it will be having an effect on your central nervous system, and it will be putting your body under a lot of stress. So again, you might not feel stressed, inverted commas, but your body will be under stress. Emotional stress, of course, we've all experienced that. If you have escaped experiencing any emotional stress in your life, then you must be one of the only ones. We all know what it feels like to be emotionally stressed. Financially stressed is another big one, which is very, very common in this day and age now, and it can be the cause of some major stress. Exercise stress covered. Environmental stress, so lots of environmental stressors going on in our lives nowadays. Everything that touches your skin that is a chemical, so let's think of things like shampoos, conditioners, hair dyes, body lotions, deodorant, toothpaste, walking down the street, breathing in the exhaust fumes of the cars, working in an environment where you might be breathing in fumes of paint, or Maybe you work in a car garage and you're constantly breathing in fumes. So all these kinds of things, so everything that we come into contact with in the environment can and will cause our body to be under stress as well. Then we have nutritional stress, again, something that the vast majority of us will have or are suffering from at the moment in this country and around the world, is that we are not eating real food. Therefore, our body is under a lot of stress trying to digest and process essentially things that it doesn't really recognise as being food. So if your diet is not great, then you're putting your body under an undue stress from trying to digest food that it doesn't actually know how to digest properly. Relationship stress, big one. Again, we'll talk about actual types of stress and reactions to it in a second. And then sleep deprivation is a type of stress as well. So as you can see, there are lots and lots of different types of stress, and it can come from all different areas. You may have a bigger problem with one than the others, or you might have a combination, or you might not have any, in which case you won't need that little sign on the right hand side of the screen. So this is the kind of cycle, the worry cycle I call it. Are you stuck in this fight or flight response most of the time? I spoke about that a few slides ago. In a kind of constant perceived threat mode of, you'll see a little diagram on the right hand side, fearful thinking causes negative emotions, which causes you to be perceiving that there's going to be a threat or something's going to happen, and then your body is in an uproar and that causes more fearful thinking, and it's just a worry cycle going round and round and round, and you are constantly in that fight or flight mode or flinch mode, constantly anticipating what the next problem's going to be, constantly anticipating that there is a perceived threat, that something bad is going to happen, or something negative is going to happen and cause you stress. And this will actually cause physical symptoms, like we spoke about a couple of slides ago. So I'm sure all of you have experienced physical symptoms of stress before, and getting out of this cycle is probably going to be the first place that you're going to want to consider looking at. So which reaction is yours to this photograph on the right hand side? Lovely photograph. You just poured yourself a nice glass of red wine and you just turn around to get some food and your elbow smacks the glass of wine off the table onto the floor, and it was your last glass as well, there's none left in the bottle. So you've got two options. You can either fly off the handle, spend the rest of the night in the huff and let it ruin your night, or you can tidy the glass and wine away, open another bottle and get on with life, or go out to the shop, get another bottle and get on with it. One of these reactions is going to cause you more stress than the other, and this can be applied to lots and lots of different scenarios in your life. So it's not just dropping a glass of wine that smashes on the floor. If you actually take a moment just to think about this, what I'm trying to teach behind the photograph here is that you always have a chance, you always have a choice how you react to a situation that you are perceiving as stressful. You always have a choice. You don't have to let situations like this cause you stress, undue stress. If there's another way that you can look at it. So reaction number 2 there would be the sort of problem solving way of looking at it. So what can I do to make this better? Tidy the glass away, tidy up, give the floor a bit of a wipe, go and get another bottle and get on with it. So here is something that I like to do, and it's just a very quick stress management tool that you can use when you are when you find yourself getting worked up, and that is a breathing technique, breathing techniques, or a 5-minute pause, or a bit of both when stress strikes. So I don't know if any of you have done this before, but deep breathing exercises to calm you in moments of stress and anxiety are really, really good. And one of them is very, very simple, and I don't know if this is the official name for it, but it's what I call it. The 4-2-4 second breaths. So you breathe in for 4 seconds, 1, 2, 3, 4, hold for 2 seconds, and then breathe out for 4, 3, 2, 1. And you just repeat that for 5 minutes, breathing in for 4 seconds, holding it for 2 seconds, and breathing out for 4 seconds. And it's honestly one of the best ways for me to calm down, and I think you should maybe give it a go next time you feel a bout of stress coming on. You can also consider downloading apps like Calm or Headspace. They have emergency guided breathing exercises on them, which are really, really good. I use Calm. It's a little blue logo in the App Store. I think you pay a little bit for it, and you get loads and loads of guided meditations. There are sleep ones, stress ones, anxiety ones, emergency 5-minute guided breathings. There's loads and loads on there, and it's really, really cool. Or you can remove yourself from the situation and face it when you are calmer. So if you find yourself in an argument or a heated debate with someone, your friend or partner, and it's getting you stressed, rather than getting involved in that argument there and then, remove yourself from it and face it when you are more calm. So moving on to sleep. Sleep is vital. You've probably heard me banging on about sleep quite a lot in T21 and again here. But I just want to explain to you a little bit more about sleep and give you some ideas to help you get to a place where you can actually fall asleep quite easily, stay asleep, and wake up feeling refreshed. So sleep is vital for essential repair and recovery of both your body and your mind, so physical recovery and psychological recovery from each day. And these are the times that it is most ideal to sleep. So between the hours of 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. is when your body will be in a physical repair state, so repairing the actual physical damage. And between the hours of 2 a.m. and 6 a.m. is when the emotional and mental repair happens, as psychological repair of your mind. Now, this is not set in stone, there are slight variations for each person, but it's a good general guide, and it doesn't move, it doesn't shift forward or backward depending on when you go to bed. So if you went to bed at midnight, it wouldn't be, say, midnight to 4 a.m. and then 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. It just stays between 10 and 6, so your ideal sleeping time is between the hours of 10 and 6. So what do I class as a good night's sleep? So this is what I would class as being a good night's sleep. Falling asleep easily within a few minutes after feeling rested. Staying asleep, so having an uninterrupted sleep, maybe waking up once at the very, very most during the night. Restful and peaceful, no tossing and turning, and waking up feeling refreshed and ready for the day ahead. So that's what I would classify as being a good night's sleep. So can you remember the last time that you had one of these? Here are some ideas that you can literally put into place straight away to try and help you get a better night's sleep. So you want to create a restful environment in your bedroom. You want your bedroom to be somewhere where it is calm, tidy, free from clutter, and relaxing, so that your body knows that you can go into that room and it's time to relax and wind down. So it's important to have a dark room, so blackout blinds or curtains, a cool temperature, so you'll sleep better if the temperature in your room is cold. So if you were to stand with no clothes on, you would want the temperature to be at a point where you'd actually feel a bit shivery. That's the best temperature for you to have in your bedroom for the best night's sleep. No electronics. TV really should not be in the bedroom. That should say, not really should be in the bedroom. TV really should not be in the bedroom. It's really not a place for TV. Your bedroom is for your relaxation and to sleep. So we don't want anything stimulating in there like screens. No phones or chargers next to your bed. And for anybody that thinks they must use their phone as an alarm clock, there really is just a simple thing to get over that, and that is to get yourself an alarm clock. A couple of quid in Argos, no dramas, get your phone out of your bedroom. If for any reason you must have your phone in your bedroom while you're asleep, make sure it's on airplane mode to stop the signals from coming and going next to your head all night. Avoid caffeine after 3 o'clock. We've spoken about that in T21, so you already know about that. Relax your mind for around 2 hours before sleep, so try not to do anything too stimulating. So be careful that you're not exercising too late at night, or you're not working very late at night and then going straight to bed and expecting to get to sleep. So certainly for at least an hour, preferably 2 hours before you go to sleep, you would want to be starting to wind down. And good nutrition and hydration practices, obviously. The better your nutrition and your hydration, the better night's sleep you're going to get. And we cannot forget about how important that is and the correlation between the two. So the next few slides are a little bit sciencey, just kind of explaining to you exactly how sleep occurs, and just giving you a few more ideas for things that you can do to help you get the best night's sleep possible. So first of all, let's talk about serotonin, which is the happiness hormone. So as cortisol reduces in the evening, so remember cortisol is your stress hormone, this is a route to increased melatonin, and melatonin is the hormone or the neurotransmitter that actually helps you to fall asleep, so we need that in the evening. So before we can have melatonin, we must have serotonin. So ways that you can boost serotonin: walking, so a nice relaxing walk, carbohydrate based foods like oats, bananas and chocolate, dark chocolate, writing down to-do lists and must-dos for the following day, so clearing your mind for the following day, making sure you're not stressed out and that you've got a clear direction for the next day. Gratitude log, we've spoken about that. If you've stopped doing that for whatever reason, get back on it. Read some relaxing fiction books, even just a chapter will do, and switching off technology and actually engaging in conversation or laughing or speaking to the people in your family around about you, and getting rid of your phone and actually having actual conversation. So melatonin is the sleep hormone. It's secreted as it starts to get dark. It responds to serotonin, therefore it's important to stimulate serotonin first. And here's how we can actually increase melatonin: by eating tryptophan containing foods. Tryptophan is a precursor to melatonin. So foods like dark chocolate, bananas, walnuts, oats, chicken, turkey, they are the most common tryptophan containing foods, so if you can include them before bed, excellent. Switch off electrics. I think I've covered that enough now. Consider a Lumie clock for your bedroom. Lumie is just a brand name. They do light alarm clocks, so they simulate sunset and sunrise, and they help you to fall asleep more naturally and wake up naturally with light as well, and it's really good. I really highly recommend that. Wind down properly, chill out, read, absolutely no TV, phones or screens in your bed. And then we have cortisol, which is the hormone that can keep you awake. But if the cascade of cortisol is off, then you might not wake up very easily. So cortisol keeps you awake at night, stops you from switching off if you have too much of it. It has an inverse relationship with serotonin and melatonin. So if your cortisol is low in the morning, it should actually be higher in the morning so that you can wake out of your sleep. But if your serotonin, melatonin is high in the morning, then you're going to find it very hard to get out of your bed. There are ways to lower cortisol, especially in the evening. Again, they are similar to what we've spoken about before, so I'm not going to read them out to you again. You can actually boost cortisol in the morning. So if you're lethargic in the morning, it suggests your cortisol cascade may not be optimal. You can boost this with things like coffee, caffeine, caffeinated drinks, licorice root extract, either in the form of tea, tablets or tincture. You can get that. It's a very nice natural stimulant for cortisol. But again, these are all sort of short-term methods. And ideally you would want to be reducing caffeine moving forwards and using something like licorice root to help stimulate cortisol naturally. And then obviously ultimately removing or managing stress in the long term is where you should be focusing your energy in the longer term. So here are just another few things that you might want to consider to help you overcome sleep problems. Waking in the night can be a sign of internal stress, and these are a few things that you can do to help alleviate that. So hydrating properly throughout the day, minimum 2 litres of water, more if you're exercising. Walking is a good way of de-stressing. Make sure you're managing your exercise and being mindful of exercising late at night. Avoid high intensity exercise late at night. Stress management tools we've spoken about, possible use of magnesium before bed. If you do have any severe sleep problems and you've tried everything on here and you've been consistent with it for a few weeks and it's still not working, speak to me, I'll tell you about magnesium. Start to reduce or remove unnecessary stressors from everyday life. Easier said than done, but you can start to chip away at these one at a time. And eat a consistently nutrient-dense diet, which you should all be which you should all have pretty much nailed down now. We're in week 6, so we're actually in week 9 since you started C21, so this should be second nature now. Does the perfect night's sleep exist? Who knows, but you can certainly implement some things that will help you to get a perfect night's sleep. Invest in making your beds comfortable and supportive as possible. Don't scrimp on your bed. It's important, you're going to spend a very large chunk of your life in it, so make sure that it's comfortable and supportive. Good quality sheets layered for temperature control. Again, it's important that you don't overheat in bed, so having layers, maybe a sheet and then a duvet to use if you get too hot or too cold. It's nothing worse than waking up in the middle of the night freezing and you can't find a blanket big enough, and just make sure you've got a little contingency plan for that. Cool and cold bedroom is important. We spoke about that, as we did about blackout curtains and blinds for complete darkness. Consider reading by a dim lamp or candlelight, or even a Lumie alarm clock before bed. Unplug and remove electronics, and use earplugs to block out noise if you need to, traffic noise, snoring, that kind of thing. So let's talk about homework tasks for this week. Start monitoring your sleep. Use your Fitbit, your Apple Watch, or even a written log to monitor your sleep. How did you sleep when you wake up? How many times did you wake up in the night? Restful, not restful? Do you feel awake, or do you feel sluggish this morning? That kind of thing. Start to record it. You can also start to pay attention to how the last meal of your day affects your sleep, because it will. Have a think about what ratio of carbohydrates, fat and protein that you had, what gives you the best sleep. These are all things that will be trial and error, and then record and adjust where necessary. Find out what works best for you in your nighttime routine. Everybody will be different. Write down the 3 most important things that you need to do tomorrow, and this will help to clear your mind. Your gratitude log, reading under dim light, removing electronics. Hopefully you've got that by now. I've said it about 100 times. And that is it for this week. Any questions, you know where to find me.